I created a program to choose 2 exotics at random. I'm going to use those exotics to make a build that is strong enough to solo the hardest dungeon in Destiny 2. And let's just say it's much better than I expected. I clicked randomize and Omnioculus and Dead Messenger. This might not seem special right now, but it's going to get crazy. So I put together an armor set with decent stats and I started the build. Obviously, we have Dead Messenger. This is a grenade launcher that shoots out a cone of 3 energy waves, similar to waveframe grenade launchers, but much larger. It can also swap between elements to break shields, but we're mainly going to keep it in the void mode. And this exotic comes from the Vox Obscura mission. Omnioculus will give us 2 melee charges on our void subclass, and it will give damage resistance while invisible. So I'm going to double down on invisibility. To do that, I have Trapper's Ambush to give us quick fall and make our smoke bombs weaken enemies and turn us invisible. We also have Stylish Executioner to turn us invisible with True Sight after killing a suppressed, weakened, or volatile target. For the fragments, I have Echo of Obscurity for invisibility on finishers, Echo of Starvation for Devour on a hunter by picking up Orbs of Power, and Echo of Persistence for longer durations of our invisibility and Devour. And of course, Gambler's Dodge to get a melee charge after dodging near an enemy. Now here's where it starts getting really good. Volatile Flow will give Dead Messenger volatile rounds after picking up a Void Elemental Well. This turns Dead Messenger into one of the best ad clearing weapons in the game. And because of Stylish Executioner, you turn invisible after every kill. You can spawn wells using Melee Wellmaker since Omnioculus gives double melees, but for high level activities, I prefer Reaping Wellmaker to spawn a Void Well from your next kill after dodging. And to gather those easily, I have Seeking Wells to pull them toward me. We're going to be collecting a lot of Void Elemental Wells anyway, so might as well throw on Font of Might. This will increase the damage of Dead Messenger by 25% after picking up a Void Well. And to speed up our dodge regen, we have Well of Utility to give class energy from Void Wells too. Perpetuation also lowers the dodge cooldown, so we can dodge more often, which leads to spawning more Void Wells. To take advantage of Devour, we need to spawn Orbs of Power, and I chose to do that with Harmonic Siphon. This will cause multi-kills with Dead Messenger to spawn Orbs of Power. So basically an orb on every shot. And to make Dead Messenger more consistent in terms of ammo supply, I have reserves, loaders, finders, and scavengers. I don't normally like to run double special weapons, but the build felt so much better with a kinetic shotgun. Since Dead Messenger clears out so many ads, there isn't much need for a primary weapon, so might as well use something that takes out majors easily. Special Finisher makes ammo more consistent, but honestly, I had no problems with ammo outside of very long encounters, so most of the time it's not really necessary. My heavy weapon changes depending on the encounter, but I make sure to go with a void weapon to take advantage of both Font of Might and volatile rounds. So things like Threaded Needle, and as you'll see in a minute, Falling Guillotine. Once all of this is combined, it's amazing. You have lots of invisibility, tons of explosions, and thanks to Devour, you basically never die. It's amazing in most PvE activities and great for solo players. But is it good enough to solo the hardest dungeon in the game? I asked you which dungeon was the most difficult, and with over 50% of the vote, Prophecy was chosen. So I started it up and ran through the first section up until the first boss. I always struggle in this encounter, but honestly, this build made it free. I started by dodging near a knight to activate Reaping Wellmaker, then I destroyed all the scions in just a couple shots. I turned invisible after every hit, so I could easily reposition myself or collect and deposit motes without being detected. That also allowed me to play a little bit more aggressive than normal. Damage phase was much better than I expected too. Using Falling Guillotine, I was able to deal about 3/4 of his health in one phase with the help of a tether and one elemental well. I almost never deal that much damage with a hunter, so I'll take it. Then I was able to finish him off in just a few seconds on the next phase. This was the easiest first encounter I've ever had. The Wasteland was also really easy since you're basically just running back and forth killing Thrall. The second encounter though was a bit of a challenge, but not much. Dead Messenger once again cleared all of the ads easily, and I shotgunned all the knights to spawn the motes. As tempting as it was to shoot the hobgoblins with Dead Messenger, I did swap to a linear fusion to take them out. I cleared room after room with ease, and once the 2 bosses spawned, I tethered and DPS'd with my linear. No one cares about the Sparrow section, so let's just skip to the boss. This encounter was fairly difficult. It took me about 5 or 6 tries before I was able to clear it, but it was possible. I would start each room by going invisible, then dodging near enemies to get my smoke bomb back, then spawn a Void Elemental Well. I would then use my OP Dead Messenger to clear all the scions, then kill the knights and dunk motes. Basically the same thing as last encounter. For the ogres, if I had a smoke bomb at the time, I would throw it at them to apply a debuff and then shoot them with my shotgun. I tried to finish as many enemies as possible to keep myself safe with invisibility, since this entire room can shoot me at any time. The real obstacle was the damage phase. Once you drop down, it's a very long range encounter. So for me, it was a little scuffed since my only long range weapon was my linear fusion. I would start by debuffing the boss with my melee, damaging a bit with my heavy, then taking out the hobgoblins with dead messenger. And once the boss got to the end, I would super and dump as much heavy into him as possible. Since the hobgoblins were all spread out, it took me a while to kill them, which unfortunately also meant I couldn't take full advantage of elemental wells. But after 3.5 phases, I was able to finish off the boss and complete the dungeon. Now, how would I rank the build? It has very high survivability, it provides top tier ad clear, and if you're able to grab elemental wells during a damage phase, you can output some amazing damage. Overall, I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. Not bad for 2 random exotics. Now, if you like this build, but double special weapons aren't your thing, you need a good primary weapon with an awesome perk roll. So check out this video to see all the most interesting and overpowered perk combinations in Destiny 2. Thanks for watching, I'm Marshix, and I'll see you next time.